television program that all the world calls Talking with Famous People. I'm your host Eric, and I'm here today for a live stream. And this live stream is going to talk about an exciting activity planned for later that I'd like to share with you. Um, Before we get into the meat of today's exciting activity, let me just add that I thought to myself, well, look, there's a lot of stuff you could do around here. If you're going to go do this exciting activity, you should earn it. And so the first thing I did this morning, before before Rachel got up and before I confirmed with her that yes, we're going to go do this exciting activity, I climbed up onto the roof and I peeled paint off of the side of the house where I need to repaint. I did a lot of paint scraping and I feel pretty good about that. I was like, Eric, you did a good job. You did a fair amount of paint scraping, and as a consequence, you can feel as though you did some stuff that you're all the world called supposed to do before you did stuff that was an exciting activity. So now you're probably wondering at this point, well, Eric, what is this exciting activity that you're going to go do? Well, first of all, the first part of it is not an exciting activity. It's a bit of an errand. We've been out of mushrooms for a while now. I need to go back to Oakland and I need to get some mushrooms. So I wasn't quite sure when I was going to run this errand. But then it occurred to me today, it's the last day of Adderall. And so, we're both taking it and feeling energized. We're also not especially tore up, despite it being the end of a bottle of Adderall, because we both managed to get good sleep pretty much every night. So I feel like much better than I normally do at the end of a bottle of Adderall. Now, also, this month I was only able to get 40 of my 60 Adderalls. I was only able to get 40 of my 60 Adderalls. I have to call in on like the late in the 20s of the month and ask my doctor to prescribe it again, because even though I didn't get my full prescription, I don't have to wait a full month to get it filled again. I just have to wait 20 days, right? So anyway, that works out kind of well for me because it means I don't go on, my run is not as long. Rachel's done more of them this time than usual as well, which also kind of works out best for us because then we're both in similar places, when we do approximately the same amount of Adderall. Hello, Mr. Man. How polite of you. How polite of you to come sit on my lap. Oh, yes. Daddy knows, and Daddy loves. It's what daddies do. Oh, no, don't bother Capio. No. Trouble, don't bother Capio. Leave your sister alone. That's her place. Don't you go there. Trouble, get down. Okay, that's fine. You can sit over there. Yes, that's a fine place for you to sit. That's fine. Just don't dislodge your sister from her seat, So, Rachel and I had talked about before, one of these times we go to mushrooms, maybe let's go see an Oakland A's game. So, I was thinking earlier, like, okay, well, we're going to go to Oakland to get mushrooms. I should do it today because I'm going to be out of Adderalls tomorrow, and then I'm not going to want to go to Oakland. And I said, well, let me just see if the Oakland A's are playing at home tonight and what kind of tickets we can get. So I looked at it. Yes, they are playing at home tonight. They're playing against the Arizona Diamondbacks. And then I Googled knowing the Oakland A's as I do, that their average attendance is under 10,000 a game, and they've had multiple games where they're under 5,000 people there. And they're the worst team in baseball. Their record is 9-33. They're leaving Oakland within a couple of years for Las Vegas, and and the Oakland Coliseum is the worst stadium in baseball. It's a Monday night. They're playing an interleague game against a shitty National League West team. So, as you could expect, you're never going to get a chance to get better deal on excellent seats. So I Googled what are the best seats in baseball stadium to sit at a baseball stadium. And the general consensus seems to be field box third baseline. So I went on Oakland A's tickets and I found they had tickets available still today, the day of the game, for third base field box first row. So they were only, now I know these are expensive tickets for tickets, but those seats, this is dirt cheap, $150 a piece for the best possible seats you can get in a baseball stadium. First row, third baseline field box. Can't get any better than that. So that's what we're going to go do this afternoon. We're going to leave here in about 2 hours, 20 minutes, and we are going to go to Oakland, and we are going to buy mushrooms. I'm, of course, going to eat some of the mushrooms before we go into the Coliseum, but Rachel's not going to. And we're going to watch some of the A's game at least. We may not stay the whole game, but we're going to get to sit in the best seats in the house. And it comes with like complimentary soft drinks and stuff too if you get the field box seats. So that's pretty good. They'll save us a little money. And I plan to make some excellent videos there. And also, because we're going to be so close to the field, so close like the third baseman, I plan to periodically say hilarious things to the third baseman. Like, oh, you should have thrown it faster. It didn't get to first base in time. I say things like that. It's going to be a blast. I'll be on mushrooms in the best seats in the baseball stadium. Nobody's going to be there. You've never seen a baseball game as poorly attended as an Oakland A's game. So whatever I say will be audible to everybody. It's going to be a fantastic spectacle. And I'm going to have DVR. I think I already have the DVR set to record all the Oakland A's games, but I'm going to make sure we record tonight's game. And maybe, depending on where the foul balls go, you might very well see us on TV. I might be able to see myself on TV, because we're going to be right there on the field. So anyway, I'm pretty excited about this. I'm pretty pleased with this plan. And, after I thought about it a whole bunch, I realized, what, this is a fucking fantastic plan. Because there's never going to be a better opportunity to get to sit like that at a baseball game. Normally, I'd never be able to afford seats like that because they're just way too expensive. And I could do it later in the season, potentially. But it's just really good timing because we have enough Adderall left that we're going to be amped up, and I'm taking care of a lot of shit lately. And it's like I've been handling shit, checking out things off my not written down checklist of wedding stuff, etc. Blah blah blah. So I don't feel like I'm being avoidant or indulgent particularly. And Of course, the only bad part of this plan is we're driving into Oakland on a Monday afternoon. But the good part of that is we're driving into Oakland on a Monday afternoon. We won't be driving out of Oakland until well past commuting time. So fingers crossed it's not too bad getting into Oakland. And then fingers crossed the line at the mushroom store is not too long. But we shouldn't have any problem. We leave here at 2:30. It takes 3 hours to get to Oakland, give or take. Uh, and takes 30, maybe it takes 30 minutes to go through the mushroom store if there's a line, depending. And then the game starts at 6:45, so we leave here at 2:30. We get to Oakland at 5:30. It gives us plenty of time to go to the mushroom store. It also allows a little cushion in case we want to go through a drive-through or something on the way there. It takes a little bit longer to get there, etc. And while in our initial discussion of this idea, we were talking about getting a hotel near Oakland so we didn't have to drive back. In order to save some money, uh, in this incarnation of the idea, we're gonna actually just drive back here after the game. So it's gonna be a long day, but Rachel's welcome to sleep in the car on the way home, if she's tired. I don't know. And I definitely won't be because I'll be on both Adderall and mushrooms. Um, but it won't be history's funnest drive home. Nevertheless, I am very excited about this plan, and it's a last hurrah before we enter Sleepy Week. And then we'll have a few days of Sleepy Week, and then Cameron shows up, I think on the 20th or 22nd or something, he said. So by that time, we'll be back rejuvenated, even though we won't have any Adderall. We'll be back rejuvenated and ready to do things with Cameron and so forth. So I thought I'd live stream away the time between now and when we leave, and also utilize that time to get myself set up, like packed up for this little mini day trip here we're taking. For example, one thing I'd like to do is clean out the trash in the back of my car. Um, I got to roll a bunch of joints. Okay. Hello, Boba Fett. Yay! Somebody put something in the chat. So, in preparation for our trip to the Oakland Coliseum to see the Oakland A's, worst team in baseball, play against Arizona Diamondbacks, who I believe are at the bottom of the National League West. I've got a few little preparatory chores to do before we actually leave. Let's begin with the first of those, which is rolling a bunch of joints. Rachel, being Effie Tool, likes to copy, which is to say, if I'm smoking a cigarette in the car or something, she's prompted to want to smoke something then too. So she likes to have lots of joints so that she can smoke every time I light a cigarette. Like if she doesn't want to start smoking cigarettes, I don't want her to start smoking cigarettes either. It's not good for you, and it's also an unnecessary expense. So I'd rather she just smoke endless joints. Hi, Lemon Melon. Hi, Misfortune. Combined, your Miss Lemon Bourbon Fortune, Boba Fortune. Your Miss Lemon Boba Fortune combined. Baseball. baseball, as the Japanese call it. And as I said, there's a lot of things that make me like this experience we're about to have, none of which are positive things. And in general, it seems like I don't necessarily want to go to the World Series game and get decent seats. I'd much rather do what we're doing today. We are going to see the worst team in baseball at the worst stadium in baseball, and to see a team play that's leaving Oakland within just a couple of years, so they've got no money invested into their team. Their opponent is terrible. It's a Monday night, so it's not really a day where people go out to baseball games and a lot of shit. There's going to be nobody there. And we were able to get third base field box first row seats. So that's the kind of experience I would rather have than going to like a World Series game with decent seats. I'd rather have spectacular seats at a totally empty stadium watching major leaguers play and it be so empty that when I yell things to them from the field box, they can hear me and they can clearly hear me. And I will be saying strange things all night, I bet, because I'm going to be on mushrooms too. I'm going to say things like, I think that was a swell performance. Or, you know, both of you guys did a great dynamite job. Okay, yeah, it's generally considered the best seats in football are on the 50-yard line, down low, but not super down low. I mean, I can film myself. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I can film there. You certainly can take pictures, right? I know that you can't use the accounts video meow of Major League Baseball without their express written permission, but I mean, I think you can still do social media stuff. Well, they do have luxury boxes in football, but they're not necessarily the best seats because you're higher up. It's a little bit more of a challenging question in football where the best seats are. But if you look at like what are the best seats in a baseball stadium, you basically got three choices. You can be right behind home plate, which are good seats because you can see everything, you're centered on everything. I don't want to have to look through the net. You can go on the first base line field boxes. But for whatever reason, when I looked it up on the internet, the consensus seems to be the third base field boxes are the best seats in baseball. You're not behind the net, so if a foul ball comes, you can get it yourself. You can catch it or whatever. But you're as close to the field as you can possibly get, and for whatever reason, people say those are the best seats. So that's what the seats we got. I was shocked when I saw field box third baseline row 1 available. I know they don't get very many people there, but to be able to get the first row seat in the field box the day of the game for $150. Wow, the Oakland A's are really struggling to sell tickets to their events. Yeah, that's why the circumstances are perfect, because regardless of how whatever other factor is, you get the two Major League Baseball teams playing a game that's televised and counts in the standings I'll be able to say, hope I keep hoping that the A's just keep losing and losing and losing all year long. Because I want to say I watched a lot of games of the Oakland A's during the season when they set the record for the worst baseball team in history. Because they very well might. They're on pace for it. Misfortune, please don't call Oliver Linehan a sweet young thing. He feels objectified when you do that. Like, I think the best seats in hockey are probably right behind the goal, uh, up against the boards. You know, because if you're right there, you have the most opportunity to pound on the glass when guys are pushed up against it, which is, of course, the highlight of any. Oh, my bad, Misfortune. Only women can be a dick. I forgot. Men, they have to be subjectified. Ice rink hockey is proper hockey. And what other possible kind of hockey thought? Field hockey? Something like that? That's not hockey. That's hockey light. That's hockey for warm weather countries. Okay, where is my torch lighter? What did I do with it? What did I do with it? And why did I do whatever I did with it to it? These are the questions that plague mankind throughout all of human history. Fine, I'll just grind more weed without cleaning this thing. If it wants to be a little bee. Ice hockey. Proper hockey is ice hockey, not field hockey. Field hockey is just soccer with a stick. It's like, obviously, field hockey and air hockey aren't proper hockey. Ice hockey is proper hockey. I like hockey. I like watching it. As long as the game's close, then I like watching it. If the game's more than 2 goals apart, then I say, okay, this is, unless it's really early on, I think, okay, this is not going to be very good. Because, once the team gets down, then they're not going to take more chances. And so a lot of games end up getting blown open. Um, you see a lot of blowouts, like 5-0, 5-2, or whatever, because, oh, there's my torch lighter. It's right here. It was right there the whole time. Stop falling all over the place, right? I put a short up on Mindy's Club of like a 15-second excerpt from that video I made called Tiffany Hits the Target. And in the excerpt, it just has me saying, well, girls, did you enjoy exercising your Second Amendment rights? And Tiffany's like, I sure did. Me too. Me too, says Mindy. And then I say, would you like to sit next to the gun on the way home? And, yeah. That's the whole excerpt. The short. It got 1.3 thousand. Isn't too bad for a short. But somebody commented on it. What the actual fuck? It's fantastic, right? You got this strange looking toothless old man who's playing with dolls in his little his car, shooting a rifle. It's a beautiful combination of things. Yeah, a Stanley Cup is a very big trophy. Now, if somebody wanted to critique hockey and on the grounds that they had an inefficient trophy, I couldn't dispute that. It is an inefficient trophy. They should just, instead of having a Stanley Cup, they should just have a NFT, a non-fungible, tradable digital object to be the Stanley Cup trophy. And that would work out better. So what else do I need to bring? Make sure to bring with me to this outing. Well, like I said, I need to clean the trash out of the car. That's worth doing. That would be a good thing to do. And I need to bring a light jacket and maybe a sweatshirt too, and then so I can try to manage the coldness. It gets chilly in the Bay Area in the evening, even on a warm day like today. Up here right now, even though we're at 4,000 feet, it's 81 degrees. So that's how warm it is today. It's a good day to go to a night game in Oakland because, like I said, the Bay Area almost always is cool in the evenings. And cool in the evenings on a hot day means pleasant. Cool in the evenings on a cold day means freezing cold. We've watched games of the Oakland Coliseum where people are bundled up like they're in Green Bay in December watching a football game. I'm going to put on my hiking boots. I'm going to bring them with me. I'm going to drive with my flip-flops. And before we get out of the car to go into the Coliseum, I'll change into my boots to make walking a little easier, and also because I don't like going into public restrooms and with my flip-flops. It's too puts my feet too close to the pee on the ground. How much is 81 in Celsius? I do not know. I'm not sure how much that is. I'm guessing the temperature in Oakland is a lot warmer than it is here because we're up in the mountains, so it's cooler up here. 81 in the 80s in the mountains where we are, it's about as hot as it's going to get. Is probably like 89 or 90 at the absolute most. And when it's 110 in the valley below, we're going to be at 90 probably up here. But the point is, 81 up here is a hot day. So down in the valley, it's probably hotter. By the bay, it splits the difference, kind of. We're 4,000 feet. But most importantly, we are out here in the woods, which, obviously when it's hot, the heat is maximized in cities and places where there's a lot of asphalt and pavement and stuff like that. Whereas when you're out here in the woods, it's there's not as many, there aren't those heat aggravating factors. So 4,000 feet is not especially high, but it's about as high as you can get in Mariposa County, and it does qualify as the Low Sierras. You want to tell you how many meters that is, Velvet? I don't know. I don't know your metric system stuff, so just deal with it. You can't make friends with metric. You can't make friends with metric. You could say that. Very similar to salad in that regard. Metric is the salad of measurements. It's good for you maybe, but you still don't want to eat it. Although you definitely want to eat the salad we had at Charles Street House last night. Oh my god, that was phenomenal. They have this certain cheese they put on the salad there. They just taste like heaven. It tastes like salad heaven. I don't know what it is, but oh my god, that salad they have at Charles Street House. Also, the salad they have at Little House of Ramen are both just spectacular. We hadn't gone out to eat for a while, so I said to Rachel last night, "Want to go out to eat? Get dinner." We're kind of running low on food in the fridge and stuff, and didn't feel like having another frozen dinner, so we're like, "Yeah, let's go out to dinner." Feels like we go out to dinner about once a week, but we probably go a little bit more than that. But so much less than we used to when we lived in Los Angeles. We save a lot of money not eating out. All right. I'm just gonna keep on rolling jizoints here till I get tired of it. It's not like we could roll too many of them. I think it's a good idea to put these in a cigarette pack for Rachel so that she can have the equivalent smoking experience that I have, but with weed instead of tobacco. It's handy for spontaneous people to be away from most temptations is a good sentence. Um, the thing is, I'm not very much of a purchaser of things online, so it really works well for me. But I've begun to purchase a few things online that I otherwise would have gone to the store. Like I was thinking about getting a cigarette roller, a joint roller machine for Rachel, so that and she doesn't want to wait for me to roll her joints. She can just roll them with the machine. That's probably something I'll order online, but I haven't actually done it yet. And I said to Rachel, "Well, maybe we'll get it at the smoke shop in town." Another thing I really need to get, but I probably won't order online, is a power washer. As I'm starting to get into the actual serious bits of this painting project, um, it becomes TE important to get that tool before I spend too much time doing more work. So it's going to expedite things so much if I have a power washer, so that I can just squirt off the loose paint where it'll come off. It'll reduce the amount of elbow grease I got to use a lot, and it's just generally something I need. I also need it for the wall, which will expedite me getting all that gray stuff off of there. That I'm not going to paint. I'm just going to leave it raw wall when it's on and get the gray stuff off. But I want to get all the white parts of the house um, looking freshly painted and pristine. And I want to make sure that the one time I already got impatient with my painting and did a sloppy job, and then had to go back and fucking fix everything and scrape all the windows and shit. That I do not ever let that happen again. I am an excellent painter. I can do the job very well, but I have to have to have the right. I have to remember that I have the right mindset. You just gotta understand This is a project that's going to take some number of days, an hour here, hour there, a couple hours here maybe. Take your time, do a careful job, don't mess up, then you don't have to spend the time to fix things. And if you do mess up, fix it right then. Don't try to wait until later to come back and fix it. And I should have a easy enough time getting all this painting stuff done. Of course, I need to clean out the rain gutters. While I was up on the roof, I thought about getting the easy ones to get, but I didn't want to get distracted from my primary task with paint scraping. I'm going to need to take a shower before we go as well. Since I do have little bits of paint probably in my hair and stuff. There's paint chips, not paint not little bits of wet paint, but little flakes of paint from my scraping. I did no paint application this morning. I just did scraping. Come on. Go through already. Are you that full? You must be over full. Okay, I guess you were a little over full. I've been enjoying my littles play sports on teams. I think I like it better than professionals. Little kids are hilarious. I remember watching Delilah play sports when she was little, and I always found it like, she wasn't really particularly good at sports. And, you just be like, oh, please don't fuck up. you know? It's like, watching Delilah play sports made me nervous because also, like, it meant dealing with the emotions of winning and losing. The only sport I really wanted her to play, desperately, was debate. And she just would not apply herself to it. She was half-assed about the whole thing.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah. I'm going to get you a cigarette pack. Take cigarettes out of it and fill it with joints.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. That way, well, that way you and I will both have the same smoking reality. I'll put a couple joints in my cigarette pack too. It's just that every time I smoke, take out a cigarette and smoke a cigarette, most times it's tobacco. For you, every time it's weed. Other than that, we'll have an identical interface with our smoking.
Yes, we will.
So we bought the tickets. We had to download an app called MLB Tickets or something like that. And then we have to show them the tickets on the mobile phone. But they came through no problem to Rachel's phone, so I'm anticipating that we won't have any difficulty. I'm already sort of scheming my plan of absurdity for the evening. So I need to space out at not perfectly regular, but reasonably regular intervals, an occasional statement, right? and I'd like to mix it up by addressing different people on the field with my occasional statement. I don't want to be a pastor, guy keeps talking or
Yeah.
whatever. Instead, I want to say something. They go like, "Oh, that was weird." They totally forget about it, and then I say something again. They go, "Oh, that was weird." They totally forget about it. So I want to leave lots of space in between them, right? I want to craft the absurdist play that will be this Oakland A's baseball game. I want to craft it carefully for everyone's enjoyment,
We have
not
to.
merely my own.
Right.
Right.
We have to check to see if they play God Bless America.
Oh, it's seventh inning? Yeah.
Yeah.
We were having this extended conversation um, earlier at the beginning of the season about whether they play God Bless America during the seventh inning or whether they play Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Well, on opening day, they played a lot of God Bless America in the seventh inning stretch instead of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. So we're not sure what the answer is. Do they sometimes play God Bless America? Is it an opening day thing?
Yeah. Is it a league thing? Like, is it a American?
Is it an
league?
American League thing? Because the Dodger Stadium, I don't remember ever hearing them play God Bless America during the seventh inning stretch. It was always Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
But I do remember God Bless America Yankee games.
Right. So we're curious to find out whether this is a National League American League thing or if it was an opening day thing or if it's just sometimes they mix it up. I guess we could Google it, but we could Google it and also find out in person.
Yeah.
So after I pull a bottom rib or two more and maybe roll another joint or two, then I'm going to take you guys outside with me for something that's going to be pretty exciting. I am going to take all the trash out of the backseat of the car and put it in a trash bag.
I want to be there for that.
It's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, somehow they managed to play it in all the baseball stadiums on opening day. I don't know.
Hey, Ruben R.
Ruben R. You a sandwich made with sauerkraut and corned beef? The answer is yes. Can anybody think of another commonly used name that's also the name of a sandwich?
There's the Rachel.
What's a Rachel?
The Rachel is the turkey kind of version of the Reuben.
Really?
Yeah.
Rachel is a turkey Reuben, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Reuben and Rachel are both named after a sandwich. My next question is, can you think of a name that doesn't start with R that's also the name of a sandwich? Because it sounds like it might be just a feature of having an R start your name. BLT?
It's a
It'd be cool.
nickname for.
It'd be cool to name your kid BLT.
I like that LeBron James, one of LeBron James' son's names is Bronny. I like that name.
It's not too bad.
No, and it's not
Makes you
LeBron.
think. Well, it makes you think of paper towels.
Oh my god, it does. Oh no.
And I think that's pretty cool. Knowing
I'm
that
glad you think that's pretty
that-
cool.
whenever somebody says my name, they think of the paper towels that are basically the Charmin equivalent of paper towels, top of the line paper towels. Because what could be more pleasing than a nice, thick, absorbent paper towel?
So I have an idea. I have this gift certificate for Trader Joe's. I was thinking about giving it to Cameron since he goes there a lot.
Sure.
Um,
That's a fine idea.
cool.
Let's see, I'll just finish out this um, this week here for joint rolling. I mean, the thing is, you don't want to roll too many joints in advance because it might be the case that as they dry out, they get a little bit more coffee. But I've not really found that to be the case for this weed. This weed's so smokable.
It is smokable.
Your buddy had a 4-foot schlong? Oh, I'm sorry, bong. I misread that. 48 inches of man rod is quite a bit. Oh,
Yeah, it is.
I'm not sure anybody could take that much.
Rubinar, what's your drug of choice? Do you have a drug of choice?
Straight uncut talking with famous people.
That is legit. Like, I would accept that as an answer.
Ruben takes talking with famous people straight to the dome. That's
Love is your drug, Mr. Bobby? I accept that.
my drug of choice is drugs.
What? I guess mine is too.
That's whatever
tried.
drugs I can find that I like.
I'm obsessed a little bit, but I do like ketamine. It's so fun to dissociate. Like, I was just sitting there calmly having conversations with Liz. Like, I felt like very calm.
Shame is my medication. I like that answer. I feel you, dog.
Is it hard to answer that? Do you have like a few things that you enjoy? It could be like anything. Like, do you like to
He boofs mescaline a lot.
boofs mescaline?
Yeah,
Wow,
Ruben's a mescaline boofer.
Do you go on retreats when you do mescaline boofing?
Well, I did go on one Maboof retreat as they're called. It's a combination of mescaline and boofing with Ruben, but you know the problem was the spirit guides who were doing the boofing were putting in a fistful of mescaline at a time, and Ruben, well, let's just say his butthole wasn't used to that. So he got a little cranky. Me, of course, I've got years of experience in putting massive things up my butt. So it wasn't any big deal for me. But my problem was I hate mescaline.
Yeah, I'm glad that was not a good trip for you at all. And that was one that you were like hoping to get out of too, like towards the end of it.
Well, I went and got mushrooms to try to ease the mescaline. Actually, what I should have done is hit you up for a benzo. I don't know why I didn't or what I was thinking.
Wow, Rubinar, I will say the most fulfilling thing is bonging a beer while friends cheer me on. I could not bong a beer at all. I was weak ass shit when I first bonged my beer, and I never did it again because I thought I was gonna throw up. But I'm impressed. That's like champion drinking right there.
That's also a very ENFJ answer. it's not the drug that's the favorite. It's being cheered
Yeah,
on.
cheered on. Mm-hmm.
So, did did people did CJ? This is what I really want to know. Did CJ after watching it? First of all, did CJ watch the Oliver Linehan video? And second, if after watching the Oliver Linehan video, did he feel more doubt about his ISFJ-hood or less
I want to
doubt?
know too.
That's what I wanted. My favorite drug thus far is shrooms, but I'm waiting until I'm 80 to do heroin, so jury's still out. I mean, opiates they have the worst hangover of all, if you ask me. For me, anyway. I've never felt sicker than after the night that I drank most of a bottle of codeine cough syrup. After I drank it, I felt amazing for few hours. I felt like, oh my god, this feels so good. And the next day, though, I felt like I was gonna die. I felt so horrible. Codeine cough syrup. I had this bad cough. My dad gave me this bottle of cough syrup with codeine in it. This old bottle that he had or around the house for God knows how long. And I went home and chugged the majority of it. And that was by far my strongest opiate experience, or opioid, or whatever it is. And it did work. It made me feel really good for a while. But the hangover from it was absolutely brutal.
Oh my gosh, you were peer pressure with me. That's funny, Misfortune.
Hi, I've been assigned your peer pressurer today. And what I'd like to do is talk to you about some of your concerns or fears you may have about smoking weed to alleviate those concerns and then to peer pressure you into doing it.
That was the question, Ludafe. And cannabis is my favorite drug too.
My favorite drug is a combination of Adderall, mushrooms, and weed,
I like Adderall too.
and if you could throw it in the mix, maybe a little bit of that squirty ketamine and
I really love that there's no spray ketamine. Like, I felt like I was able to control my dose so much better.
yeah.
I snorted it too.
God, I wish Corey wasn't so difficult. It should be easy for us to hit him up for a small favor, to pay him to get us some.
Yeah.
But, oh God. Could he be any more difficult?
So what do you think would be difficult about it? I agree with you, but I don't know how it would play out.
I mean, because every time I try to ask him to do something like that, he's like, I don't know, man. I gotta use my yeah. It's just, it's like, okay, well, how can I make this worth your while?
Yeah.
Is what I basically said to him last time we hung out, and he's like, didn't answer it really. So, I don't know. It's just fucking difficult. Well, you remember how difficult it was for me to get him to let me solve the problem we had at his house, right?
So long.
It was insane.
Am I like that?
Not at all. But then, it's like, you're not crippled by unconscious feelings as he is with me. That's the best way to interpret it. Is he's having a lot of feelings that are not positive feelings about or towards me, but he's not very conscious of them, and he's misconstruing them as indicative of something wrong with me, and perhaps mistaking them for his intuition. That's a hypothesis.
That is. That's it. That's absolutely it. It is.
Oh, well, thanks. I trust your intuition about INFJs for sure. You know, if you feel that confident about it, then it sounds like I know.
You nailed it.
Here's your cigarette box.
Thank you.
Put your joints in. I've got to pee. When I get back from peeing, then I'm going to take you guys here, the camera, to a very special place, namely the driveway where I'm going to pull trash out of the car.
Interesting, Rubinar. He says, I will note this. DMT changed my life, gave me a permanent buff to gratitude, and has left me permanently amazed. Wow. I actually don't mind DMT either. It's just that the drugs that I take are serotonin drugs. So when I take a lot of DMT, it affects me. But I would say I enjoyed it. Like, I had slight visualizations of like swirls and stuff and kaleidoscopes, and it felt like very light. But yeah, I smoked way too much of it. I got sick. From all the serotonin. I'm pretty sensitive to drugs. That's why I don't really do them much. Like, even mushrooms, I don't like throwing up and feeling nauseous. And lately, like, I had a bad, like, I got sick. I wasn't tripping bad. I just felt nauseous, and I was like, no. Ruben says, I've only done it a few times far apart, but it completely skyrocketed my belief in a personal, loving creator. Interesting. 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 It's funny you say that, Mr. Bobby, because I used to watch a lot of rugby in college. Same, Ludafe, same. Nausea, she says, nausea triggers my anxiety. I avoid it pretty hard. So, Mr. Bobby says, softball is nice, Miss Fortune, but rugby, I can understand flag football and curling and softball. So, in college, we didn't have we had a football team, but we weren't ranked in any way. Like, I think we were like, I forget the name for it, but we had a very good rugby team, and my roommate dated a rugby player, so we would go see the games sometimes, and it's an extremely difficult sport to understand. Some of it, and then some of it is just like them just barreling at each other to grab a ball. But there are certain positions, like, and it was pretty fun because it was like kind of rough, like, I don't know. It was hard to understand, so like, but I was entertained enough to, be fine watching it. Like, I was happy that we had some sort of sport to watch. Some of my friends were friends with the guys on the baseball team. We had a good baseball team as well. Like some people went to the minor leagues through the school that I went at for baseball, but like I met some of the baseball guys, and I was like, these guys are such just the fucking full of themselves. They were so full of themselves, and I saw like how obsessed my friends were when they would like hook up with these like baseball players. It was just not. Sorry, am I talking about too much?
What? Is that your name?
Oh, never mind. The rugby guys were like pretty laid back too, so it was like I didn't mind going to their parties because they were like much more approachable and fun than the baseball guys. The baseball guys were like such jerks, really. Like, honestly, I couldn't say anything to my friend about like her relations with like this guy that just like used her. But yeah. Rubenar says, yeah, any sport like that where you have to keep doing bursts of energy over and over seems to make people pretty hot. That's so funny. Soccer, dancing, rugby, tennis. And you're right, Mr. Bobby. Baseball players love smacking each other's butts, but I actually have noticed a lot in basketball too. Every once in a while, you'll see smack on the butt. Wow, you play, Miss Fortune? You play rugby? Wow, it took me like 2. She says Miss Fortune says it took me 2 years to condition myself to be able to play a whole game of rugby straight, intense stuff. Ludife, I call you she. Like, is that the pronoun that you like to be addressed by, or is there some other way that you like to be addressed?
Okay, now I'm gonna sing you my favorite baseball song. It's a beautiful day for a ball game today. The fans are out to get a ticket or two. From Walla Walla, Washington to Wallamadoo. It's a beautiful day for a home run, but even a triple's okay. We're gonna cheer and move and raise a hullabaloo at the ball game. Hello and welcome to Dodger Baseball.
That's so cool. Well done.
That was a song that began every Dodgers baseball broadcast.
That's so cool.
If I could do Vin Scully, I wish I could do a good Vin Scully voice. I just try to listen to him and try to get him down. Like, Farmer John. You know, he has a certain way of talking.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Rubenars, that's a good one. By the way, the only other sandwich I can think of with the name is Sloppy Joe.
Good call, Ruben. Sloppy
Yes.
Joe. I wonder how many people named Joe end up being called Sloppy Joe by mean people if they're sloppy people. The Joe is sloppy, you know. They end up with the nickname Sloppy Joe. Which Joe are you talking about? Sloppy Joe. You know, the one who always has a messy house. I like sloppy Rachel's. A sloppy Rachel or a sloppy Reuben would be a Reuben or a Rachel sandwich with sloppy Joe sauce on top of it.
Where did the lighter go?
I took them both because I'm stupid.
You're not stupid.
You got them both because you're good.
Thank you.
I threw 2 lighters from one hand to her at the same time, and she caught 2 lighters with one hand.
Maybe they should fire me.
Yeah, they should, Rachel. You'd be a better. You'd be. You couldn't be any more light hitting catcher than Shay Langoliers. Personally, I think Rachel would be a. She'd get more singles than Shay Langoliers. Ew. Look. Trouble to the present appeal. What a fellow. Oh, there's a dead mouse. Kitties, I don't want your present, okay? This is the kind of present that nobody's excited to get. Dead mouse. Rachel, did you put dead mouse on our registry? Did you put dead mouse on the registry?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, so I guess, unless you ask for 2 of them, I guess we got our dead mouse now. Ah. Yeah, so it turns out that Rachel did put dead mouse on the registry, so that's why I guess one of the cats decided that was the gift they wanted to get us. Is this open? Yes, good. What's this? It's a mini bag. A child, a stupid fucking child.
I read that again. Certain parts of Yosemite are closed off because of like the water rushing in.
Well, good thing we're not trying to plan to have our wedding in Yosemite.
Yeah, it is. I'm glad that we're having it here.
Hmm?
I'm glad that we're having it here.
Oh yeah, me too. For one thing, it provides the impetus to get this house in tip-top shape by then.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what one really kind of should do the first 6 months you moved in someplace, is kind of deal with everything that wasn't perfect when you got the place, get it all pristine as you can, and then proceed to live in it and let it get wear and tear, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So this gives us a deadline by which I definitely want to have all the stuff done by, and certain things we have to have done by, like we need to get curtains, you know, that structure, it's a distant enough deadline. It just structures things really well for us. It motivates us to get things accomplished, and um, and gives us a good feeling of like, okay, for me anyway, like it's gonna be nice when people come and see the place and it looks all tip top shape. I'm gonna feel good FE feelings. Um, that's motivating, you know.
Yeah.
No, 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 no. And all over the trash. Where's the vaccine of the car? Where it's at for God knows how long. Until one day, Eric said, enough! And that's how come I'm taking out the trash. This has never been opened. I got it one day when we went fishing because Cameron and me went fishing because I thought maybe we catch fish. But we should put it in the fridge. What do I think about that?
Hi, Bubblingtons.
Okay, good enough. Now,
Where's the dead mouse?
I threw it in this trash can.
Oh, thanks.
It was over there.
Oh my gosh, I wonder which one.
Now I'm going to carry this trash up to the trash cans on the street. Rachel, would you mind taking that trash can back into the kitchen?
No.
Let me get this thing. Okay. Good. I saw one piece of trash on the ground, so I had to go pick that up. I have to leave you here because the Wi-Fi doesn't go all the way up the hill. Okay, so it turned out they'd already picked up the trash, which meant that I didn't have to squeeze it into the trash cans. Just put it in one of the trash cans. But look at this. When they take the trash can lid off, they leave it upside down on top of the trash can to show you that the trash has been picked up. Look at these paw prints. They're here on the inside of the lid. Isn't that weird? Okay, so now I gotta go put the trash cans back where they go. In order to do so, I'm gonna start by putting you guys right here. There. So, you never know when these ecology people are going to pick up the trash. They pick it up, supposed to pick it up on Mondays. Sometimes they do pick it up on Mondays. And they pick it up in the morning, middle of the day, mid-afternoon, or late afternoon, depending. And sometimes they just don't pick it up at all on Monday. And they'll come on Tuesday and pick it up at some point. They seem to have a rather casual attitude towards the whole thing, frankly. If they were doing their logistics intelligently, we would have our trash picked up first thing every Monday morning because we're about as far back as you can get trash. I mean, the furthest back you can get trash service is until the dirt road, which is just right there. So it's just like this street and a little bit of the Heights Cove between Snyder Creek and Snyder Ridge. That's the very back of any possible trash rack. So they just start at the back. Not that I care what time they come. I don't care what time they come. I prefer they not come first thing in the morning because sometimes I forget Sunday night and scramble out of bed Monday morning and go, oh, fuck, I got to take the trash out. But the point is, this is a trash company with bad TE. It's kind of counterintuitive. You wouldn't expect somebody to put together a trash collection business to TE the thing so poorly. Hi, Mr. Blue Jay. You know, the Beatles wrote a song about your way. Not one of their better songs, though, so. Not terrible, but it's not a classic for all the ages, you know. Rachel and I were talking yesterday about which Beatles songs we like to cover because um, when we covered For No One yesterday, oh my god, that sounded so good. Granted, it's a cover. I don't normally play a lot of covers, but uh, Rachel and I were to practice a couple of those Beatles songs as covers. We could really kill them. She knows those songs so well. Or she's pitch perfect. Her voice is beautiful. It sounds gorgeous, and it makes me feel comfortable just laying back vocally and focusing more on the guitar, which brings the whole thing tighter together, and it just sounds like. Ah. Again, I missed. The trick to getting this, you guys stand right over it and just drive it straight. Gotta just remember to line it up carefully, stand right over it, stand still, just let it out of your hand and it'll fall into the thing. Assuming no gust of wind happens. Gusts of wind are responsible for some of history's greatest ironies. Like how Hirohito was just about to sign unconditional surrender until a gust of wind blew his pen away, and then we had to nuke Tokyo. Remember that?
Yeah.
Rachel, would you like a frozen breakfast burrito?
Yeah, I would.
I figure we will get fast food at some point, but I'm thinking not until we get out to the 99 where we stop to get fast food.
Okay.
You haven't eaten anything yet this morning, so I already had one of these burritos. Well, let me tell you the trick, the old Italian trick for cooking little burrito. You put it on the plate. You don't have to take it out of the plastic. You put it in. You push it through. You push it out 30 seconds. You walk away. Have you heard Stephen Wright's microwave fireplace joke? He says, I bought a microwave fireplace. I can sit in front of it all evening in just 8 minutes. Oh yeah, burritos are the most Italian of all the Mexican foods. Just like hot dogs are the most Japanese of all the American foods. It's all a big circle of life. Once you accept that, things will start getting a little easier for you. You'll stop struggling so much. You keep operating in the wrong frame of reference. You think it's a square of life. It's not a square of life. It's a circle of life. Obviously, your calculations keep coming out wrong because you keep calculating as though it were a square. And you're trying to find angle totaling 360. It's like there are no angles. It's a circle. So, hopefully that explains your problems to you now. I gotta go to the baseball game. You sure are, Tiffany. I gotta catch a foul ball with my phantom arm. October's gonna have lots of things to say about that baseball game. Why is that guy standing on a little hill in the middle of the thing? He's the pitcher, Tiffany. What does he do? He throws the ball to the catcher. Here goes the roll, so it's easier for the guy to hit it. I see if I get it too hard, we have to hit the ball. He's supposed to, that's his job. What team are we ready for? We don't really care. I'm rolling for... Oh... I'm gonna roll for... Yes, Tiffany? The Cleveland Indians. They're not called that anymore. They're not? No. And also, Oakland's not playing the Cleveland Indians tonight. Well, how are they playing? Arizona Diamondbacks. Well, I still gotta work for the Cleveland Indians. Okay, if you insist. If you don't want me to work for the Cleveland Indians, then I'll work for the Washington Redskins. That's exactly right. Oh, God. Yo, yeah, whatever. Probably in the first part of entry level stuff. That's not just speed. I need to get it done. I'm a belt-seeking mofo with some pants that are too big, so I'm going to go into the bedroom and find myself a belt. Fortunately, I have pants, I've acquired pants here that have belt loops on them. And these loops, their whole purpose is so that I can feed a belt through them. So I might as well get a belt because otherwise I'm making the belt loops feel unwanted. I'm not giving them a chance to shine. Okay. One of the advantages of putting on a belt is that I run less of a risk of butt crack in video, which I've noticed happening a couple of times recently. Is my pants are always falling down, and then if I'm like filming myself working or something, it's hard not to have an occasional bit of butt crack on video. So I really would try to not have butt crack on video. I know that nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see Eric's butt crack. So I am making a concerted effort to not let that happen again. I saw it in, I think it was the mailman video. I was like, oh, Eric. And I saw it on a live stream too, where I was picking gray stuff off the wall. But really, it was just a parade of butt crack, you know. So my belt is on. This should hold my pants up better than nothing. I'm going to need to bring a hat, of course. The question is, which hat? I'm going to go with a black hat today, I think. I might change shirts. That's conceivable. This is a nice shirt. I'll change into this shirt. A long time ago, there used to be an umbilical cord attached to this. I don't know what happened to it. Okay, look at me. I'm looking sharp now. I got a blue shirt on with some beige pants. And the enthusiasm to match. I think I should brush my teeth. Let's brush my teeth. I know I don't have very many of them, but the teeth that I do have, I'd like to believe they deserve to be brushed. There, isn't this arty? Me in the mirror. That's pretty arty. I kind of like that shot. I'm going to win some sort of YouTube cinematography award. Pwah! 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 Okay, with enough pwahs, even an amateur can accomplish a toothbrushing now and again. Pwah! All right. These are these shelves I was talking about the other day, these deep shelves here in the bathroom. I have a tendency to leave clothes on them like this. Because, of course, when you open this door, you can't see they're on the shelves. So it's easy to forget about things left there. But right now, I'm going to put my dirty clothes on my official dirty clothes pile, which is right over here. But I'm not going to put the belt on dirty clothes pile because for some reason, belts are immune to getting dirty. Have you ever washed a belt? Ask yourself why not. The only possible answer is that belts have some kind of magical immunity to getting dirty that the rest of your clothing doesn't have. So, I think the appropriate response from you right now is mind blown.
Well, there you are.
Yes, could you turn down the volume of that?
What?
Could you turn down the volume of
Yeah,
that?
absolutely.
So your mind is blown because you just realized for the first time in your whole life that belts for some reason don't get dirty. I just realized it for the first time in my whole life too. Why don't people ever wash their belts? Well, I mean, not all belts are made out of leather. Like the belt I hung up was that gray belt. It's like one of those Boy Scout style belts that's got a a meow, and you throw it through and you just pull it and it stays locked like that. You don't have to put it through a hole. But I've never washed that belt. The only explanation is that belts don't get dirty. Belts don't get dirty, people do.
Don't get dirty?
Belts.
Belts, they don't?
Have you ever washed your belts?
No.
Me neither. The only conclusion, therefore, is belts have some sort of magical property where they don't get dirty.
Must.
Same with hats.
Yeah, my belt's not dirty.
No, my belt's not dirty either. Do I smell it occasionally? Well, nearly constantly. And most of the time, I'm smelling my belts. What did you get there?
I got some fun stuff for me.
Cool.
Yeah. I thought maybe wedding makeup, so.
Okay. Are we gonna have Delilah do your makeup? Is that the
I
plan?
think I'm gonna do my own.
You gonna do your own makeup? Okay.
Yeah, is it alright?
Sure. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Or I could do it for you. Just kidding.
I should do it with my hair.
I'm just joking. I don't think I can, nor do I want to put your makeup on you. That sounds like that sounds like
a good stream. That sounds like
I tell you what it sounds like is like our first fight as a married couple because I do it wrong, you look strange, and you're not happy with me.
I think that would be so funny. I think it would be so funny.
Hi, Lila.
Yes, Tiffany?
Are y'all gonna marry us online?
Yes, how did you hear?
I was just hearing something about you saying something or something. Y'all who should put your makeup on?
Huh.
Ma.
That's a great idea, Tiffany.
I've never done it before, but I'm the best person to do it. I'm the best at it ever.
Would you say that that's intuition?
It's just being Tiffany.
It's just being Tiffany.
It is. Okay, it is 1:41. We're planning on leaving here in about 45 minutes. What else do I need to put together before we do actually depart from this mortal coil? No, we're not departing from this mortal coil. We're just departing from this house. Well, I have a jacket in the car, but I don't have a sweatshirt yet set up. I should probably do that. Should probably get a second layer. That jacket may be too warm. Well, you know what? It'll be fine if I leave it unzipped. I think I just wear that jacket in the car. Hi, Oliver Linehan. I know you can't hear me. Oliver Linehan can't hear because he can't have audio right now. I guess he doesn't have headphones. But maybe he can read my lips. Like that. Where are you fucking going? We're fucking going to an Oakland A's game. What do you think about that, Mr. Man? What do you think about that? The Oakland Athletics. They were pretty good not that long ago. I mean, make the playoffs at least. But they haven't been really good since like the 70s, it seems like. Or when they had Mark McGwire and what was that other big guy who hit a lot of home runs? They had two of them at the same time. I forget what the other guy's name was. That's the last time they were really good. This Oakland A's team, let me statistically prove to you how horrible they are. Okay, I will prove it to you right now. let's look at ESPN.com. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up and push Major League Baseball. And I'm going to put Oakland A's. Okay. So they are 9-33. It's a 214 winning percentage. They are 17 games back from Texas in May. 17 games back in May. Okay. Now let's look at the run differential. So, okay, let's look at batting first of all. I believe there are 30 teams in the league. In total runs, the A's are 26th. In batting average, they're 24th. On base percentage, they're 21st. Slugging percentage, they're 22nd. Pitching, their earned run average is 7.27 as a staff, which is dead last in baseball. Their whip is 1.69, dead last in baseball. Their batting average against is 286, dead last in baseball. And their quality starts, 8, is tied 26th. So this is a terrible team. Now, if you talk about their run differential, see if I can see that. Well, in terms of their batting, the player with the highest batting average on the team is J.J. Bleday, and he has a total of 37 at-bats, so he's a new addition. Second is 311. He only has 61 at-bats, another new addition. The only team who's regularly played for the A's the whole season is batting over 300 is Brent Rooker at 308. But the bottom of the lineup, I mean, the people who are hitting the worst on the team: 077, 154, 167, 169, 184, 200, 209, 224, 234, 237, 237, 238, 258. And now here's the people who are hitting above 260. 270, 308, 311, and 324, and those top two numbers are with very few plate appearances. That's a terrible team batting. But they're not historically terrible in their batting. Their pitching, though, is historically terrible. I mean, the whole staff combined only has 9 wins because that's all the wins they have out of 42 games played. They're losing more than 3 games for every game they win. And I can't find this particular stat right now, but if you look at a comparison of, well, maybe I'll be able to find it here. Hold on. If you look at a comparison of run differentials between the teams, like, oh, I know where I can find that. Standings. Okay, so here's the American League East. Run differential: Tampa Bay plus 120. American League East is the strongest division in baseball because everybody in the American League East has a positive run differential. The Rays are at 120, plus 120. Orioles are plus 30. Blue Jays plus 22. New York Yankees plus 16. Red Sox plus 11. Now you go to the Central. The Minnesota Twins are plus 43. Guardians are minus 23. Tigers minus 44. Chicago White Sox minus 71. Kansas City Royals minus 60. Now you go to the American League West. Texas Rangers plus 97. Houston Astros plus 24. Los Angeles Angels plus 9. Seattle Mariners plus 24. Oakland Athletics minus 157. What? And their run differential is minus 157. The next worst run differential in the major leagues is the Chicago White Sox at minus 71. The Oakland A's is more than twice as bad as the second worst run differential in the majors. And it's stunning, you know? It's spectacular. Their negative run differential at minus 157 is more striking than the almost mirror of them, a team that's 31-11 instead of 9-33. So the Rays aren't quite as good as Oakland is bad, but the Rays have plus 120. The Oakland A's have minus 157. So they're considerably worse than the Rays are good in this historic beginning to a season the Rays have had. Well, Oakland's setting its own kind of history. This Oakland A's team is historically bad. They are already 17 games out of first place, and it's only the middle of May. How crazy is that? So I think we can all agree that that's a bad baseball team. Who would you choose? Are you a Howie lover? I'm not a Howie lover, but I encourage Howie lovers to love Howie. He says he wishes he had a son instead of a daughter, and he realizes it's been typing you. Are you talking about me? That is not true. I love my daughter very much. I do not wish I had a son. Perfectly happy with a daughter. My favorite Backstreet Boy is Brian. I agree. Misfortune. Having a favorite Backstreet Boy doesn't make you gay. Knowing the name of a single Backstreet Boy does. You would make a handsome Backstreet Boy? I think I would too.
What about Backstreet Boys?
Well, I would make a good Backstreet Boy. If they were to start a new boy band and fill it up with like lots of young 20s, late teens, sexy guys, but then as a fifth member have me. That would mix it up. I'd be the fifth member.
Oh, fifth member. So what category would you be in?
Well, the thing is, there'd be the bad boy. There'd be sweet romance guy who's like, but who's got dark hair. There'd be the heartbreaker with blonde hair. There'd be the earnest good guy. And then there'd be, what's that old man doing there? I would be nobody's favorite Backstreet Boy. It wouldn't be called Backstreet Boys, of course. It would be called Streetback Guys. We'd be the Streetback Guys. Or the Streetback Bros. We'd stand back to back like this for our photo shoot. And everyone would say, "Damn, you so sexy. I want to have your baby." And we'd have a song called "Girl, When I Touch You, It's Like the World Explodes." It starts out like, "Everything is peaceful, everything was easy, but then I met you. Yeah, you met her, and everything got strange. 'Cause girl, I reached out, and when I touched you, the world exploded, and now we're dead. Touching You Kills Everyone is the title of that song. Touching You Kills Everyone. The new hit single by the Streetback Bros, Touching You Kills Everyone. Cause girl, touching you kills everyone. Like that. When I first thought I was there, I then saw you out on the dance floor. And girl, you know, touching you kills everyone.
I'm sorry. Did I just hear a boy band singing?
There was briefly a boy band came in here, Rachel, and asked me to join them. We were practicing in one of our songs briefly, but they left already.
I mean, that sounds great.
Toby, JC, DeAndre, and Big Medium, plus Eric Strauss. Those are our boy band names.
It sounds like a diverse group, maybe? Is it?
Well, yeah, Biggish Medium. He's not at all really very fat, but he represents overweight people.
That's good.
DeAndre, he represents Asians who want to be black. JC, he represents the streets, whatever that means. He carries around things that look like they might be kind of dangerous, like switchblade comb. Yeah, and then who's the other one? There's JC, DeAndre, Big Medium, and then who was the first guy again? Oh, Toby, right. Toby represents like super good guy, tanned Canadian surfer. He's from Canada, but he moved to Southern California to be a surfer, and he's tanned, but he still has that Canadian good guy vibe.
That's kind of like Keanu Reeves.
And then during one of our songs in the choreography, he pours maple syrup on himself. And all the girls
Oh my gosh,
go,
the girls go nuts.
they go crazy, yeah.
So what do you do that makes the girls go crazy?
The girls are a little less responsive to me than the other guys. I'm not quite sure why yet.
That's their loss.
Yeah, well, I go out there and I try to like do the Axl Rose. I figure Axl Rose is a cool dance, and then the crowd always falls strangely quiet. And because I accompany my dances while the other guys are singing the song with "Look at me go." So maybe that's part of the problem.
Maybe.
Yeah, Toby, JC, DeAndre, Big Medium, and Eric Strauss.
Thank you, Mr. Bobby, for recounting that.
Actually, our manager's name is Buttocks Hunter. So you might be right about that, Mr. Bobby. He says it's a family name. It doesn't mean anything, but I don't know. When I've been sleeping on the tour bus before, I could swear I felt his face in my butt. So he may have, I don't know. You might be right about that. It's not what it sounds. It's not what it looks like. You have your face in my butt. I said it's not what it looks like. Well, then what is it? I thought I saw a bee there. So you pressed your face against my butt? I wanted to make sure I was seeing it accurately. and you can only see bees accurately this close. I have a strange optical disorder that only affects the sighting of bees. Oh. Did you think though, even though you wanted to see the bee, maybe it would be a little bit presumptuous to put your face in my butt? I'm F.E. Poor. Oh, you're knowledgeable about cognitive functions too, huh? I guess I'm gonna have to let it slide this time. Buttocks Hunter. Hunter Buttocks. Hunter Buttocks is a good name for a character.
It is. They should use that in Rick and Morty too.
Yeah.
Um, I was talking to Delilah before, and she sent me pictures of her apartment. It looks great. Oh my gosh, and she keeps it so neat. It's like she even does her bed. I'm like, wow. I'm impressed.
Turns out that Delilah and us both just needed to have a space we appreciated to not be so trashy.
But like, I appreciate my space, but I still like I'm messy.
Well, it's because I think the reason you're messy is because you don't want to say, I've got some bags of trash here, come take them down, which I'd be happy to do. I don't want to pick up all the trash, put it in a bag for you, like all your
No, I
extra,
wouldn't do that.
not all your extra like chicken flat stuff.
Yeah.
But you don't feel like empowered to shout instructions at me as we're doing chores and stuff, which you should. It's fine. I mean, you'd say like, "Hey, could you come get these bags of trash that are ready to go out?" And I would be thrilled to be give a heads up on that sort of thing. Just go up there, get them, and it'd be good teamwork and stuff. Instead of just like going, "Oh, I have all this trash," just or I even come help you put it in the bag if you want.
And no, that's fine. I can definitely do that for sure. I just, is it like,
The thing to remember, Mr. Bobby, is predator. For somebody to be a predator, they need prey, and most of the time, adults aren't easy prey towards that sort of thing, right? If somebody is using violence to accomplish that, then they're going to get arrested pretty quick. If somebody is using pressure and leverage and stuff to get away with that, and then they have to be in a very powerful position. But especially post Me Too, that's not really going to fly. People are too. Those who might be inclined to do that are very skittish of the backlash if it gets out how they are. So I think you're, again, dramatically overstating and overestimating the amount of like bad stuff that goes on in Hollywood now, and that when you would have been correct about the amount of bad stuff, it wasn't what you think it is. It's not. The vast majority of it is not gay or involve underage people. The vast majority of it is women actresses getting exploited by males in positions of powers. In position of power. That happened for a long time in Hollywood, rampantly, apparently, but
yeah.
I don't think it's happening right now.
No.
I don't think it's happening anymore.
No.
What's a predator without prey? Just a guy with a strange vibe? Uh, I mean, he's probably a predator who's scared because they've exposed their ways too much and times shifted and paradigm shifted and now they're like well, okay, maybe Lou Pearlman was like that.
Yeah, he was.
He was.
Yeah.
He
He
liked
was a
to.
predator.
He liked to hump his boy band people. Really?
Yeah. There's it went to court and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. For NSYNC and and Backstreet Boys.
So like, did he? Justin Timberlake?
There's a story where it's like he didn't hump him, but it would be like he would expose himself.
Well, you know what exposing yourself does? It exposes you to vulnerability. Because then people can be like, this guy did that.
And they did.
It is a horrible topic. It's a topic that Mr. Bobby seems on multiple occasions to be compelled to bring up.
Interesting. Interesting. Interesting.
So anyway, um, yeah, it's a depressing topic. Oh, what I want to do before we leave here also is make sure I've downloaded the rest of Chappie tracks, at least to get us out to the highway 99, the new ones.
Yeah.
So we have some new stuff to listen
Yeah,
to.
sure.
And then, okay, can we not talk about this whole topic anymore? And then, last. That reminds me of some Morty from one of the other realities.
Yeah. I was thinking that too. LAI blast.
Rapper names nowadays be like the Young Fly DC. Well, Big Medium's not supposed to be a rapper.
He's a boy band member.
Yeah, he's a boy band member who's on the plus size side compared to the other ones, but isn't really very plus size.
Do you think I would be a good? So like, you're a part of these boy bands, right?
Yeah, it's me. Well, Mr. Bobby lifted it out for us. It's me. Where's the list? It's me and Toby, DeAndre, Big Medium, and
There it is.
JC. There it is.
Cool. And I'm just your. I'm your girlfriend.
Well, yeah, we have to keep you secret because for like the teen magazines, we got to pretend I'm single. That's the life of a boy band member, honey.
Except for the Beatles, like in the.
Beatles were not a boy band.
But um, When Hold Your Hand came out, they were.
Even then, they weren't a boy band. The Beatles wrote their songs.
Right,
They're a rock
no,
band, you know?
There's just. They are a rock band.
Boy bands don't play instruments. They dance and sing.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, all right. You're right. But in one of their performances, underneath it says, Paul, the cute one, George, the shy one, and under John they said the married one.
Really?
Yeah. Sorry, girls, he's married, or something like that.
What about Ringo?
I think like the funny one. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But yeah, they labeled them, and John said that he was married.
And the Ringo said, just look at him. You know he's got to be a phenomenal drummer.
He is.
Was not the most attractive Beatles member, but he's probably the most underappreciated in terms of his contributions.
Okay, so there's this rumor that there was actually they did tryouts for a drummer because they didn't have a drummer. And John went with Ringo because he thought he was unattractive, pretty much, and he like didn't want to.
You don't want to compete with another pretty boy.
Yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
Well, I bet.
It's a rumor.
The thing is, I don't believe it. I believe that it's conceivable they had a second drummer who was in the running for getting the spot.
There was.
But and that choosing Ringo over him may have involved factors beyond just drumming skill. So like pleasantness to work with and other things like his physical appearance and how that played with the band and stuff in the band and stuff. All those things may have had a factor in making the determination Ringo over this other guy. But the reason Ringo made the band ultimately is because he's a fucking badass, sick as fuck drummer.
Yeah, he is.
And the other drummer must have been also super badass, you know?
Yeah. I think it was difficult, but Ringo, I think they saw personality in him and like.
Did they know they were going to be big or something? Like, it seems like the whole thing, they somehow knew ahead of time they were going to be big.
I think they had it in their minds that they could be big, you know? I think they knew that they had potential. There was like a fifth Beatle at one point, Pete Best, and he was said to be a really good, like, he was said to be attractive and like a good musician as well, but I think they kicked him out, and yeah, like he's the Beatle.
Why did they kick him out?
John and him got into a fight, and that was it.
Huh.
I'm not sure how he got along with the others, too. I'm not sure, but yeah.
I'd like to visit the alternate universe in which the Beatles kept Pete Best and all their songs involved with fifth person in them.
That'd be so weird.
I wonder if it would have made the music worse. Presumably. I mean, it's hard to imagine that they really needed another voice.
They didn't.
Or anything. What instrument did he play? Keyboards? It would have to be keyboards. It's the only other thing they needed, right? If Paul's playing bass, George and John are playing guitar.
He might have been drummer. Hold on.
Well, yeah, you only need one drummer.
Yeah. Did Pete Best play? Yeah, drums.
So, was he in the band at the same time Ringo was in the band?
No, there's like, no.
So he wasn't really a fifth Beatle. He was a previous fourth Beatle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they replaced Pete Best with Ringo. Because Ruben says he didn't want to tour with them.
Interesting. I never heard that before.
I never heard it.
So they did tour.
I bet he regretted that. Yeah. Has there been interviews with him being like, so what do you think?
Oh, that's all the interviews he gets.
You made the decision to not tour with them, and now you weren't in the Beatles and you missed out on all of that. What do you think? What a horrible position to be in.
No.
Okay. Well, the Beatles didn't do drugs until much later in their careers.
The early years when they were touring in Germany, they used speed.
Good for them.
Yeah. But they weren't introduced to weed until here's our favorite person, Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan smoked out the Beatles.
Actually, that's a rumor because I heard somewhere else that they took a break from everything and they went to the Caribbean, and that's where they were introduced to marijuana.
And I guess they liked it a lot. Huh?
They did, because after that they made Rubber Soul.
Wow.
and Revolver, and yeah, that's when they.
What do you not like about Crowley? He's just a weirdo, right? Like what was Crowley's whole thing? Like magic occult stuff or what?
I guess so. Yeah. I don't know. Who was Crowley?
Just because you're influenced by a sick individual doesn't mean you're influenced badly by them. You know, a lot of horrible people are very good at compartmentalizing their horrible parts versus their regular life. Okay, so why did he regard himself as the most evil man on earth? Let me look this up. And asking you is pointless. You give me nothing but slanted answers to things. Aleister Crowley, English occultist. Oh, he's the founder of the Church of Satan. Do what thou wilt is not evil as a principle. Um, it's just only traveling half of the directionality that needs to be traveled. You should do what you will, um, but what you truly will is consistent with God's will. So it's really a a thing where if you're embracing your will in a healthy way, then that's consistent with what is righteous. If you're doing things that are not righteous, it's incorrect to really call it your will because it's more like your capacity for agency um, has been deformed or made bad by either trauma or other particularist things that had rendered you sociopathic, antisocial, wicked, whatever. So, he was anti-Christianity, sure, but he wasn't anti-mysticism. So it's not like it was a rationalist thing. Uh, and he claimed all kinds of paranormal experiences, but he didn't believe himself to be engaged in the in evil, right? He didn't think he was doing harm. He believed he was liberating people from an arbitrary conscription by other forms of mysticism. He was wrong, but that doesn't make him evil. So, okay, now that we've clarified that, I'm going to. Evil people do things like murder people, not write nonsense, not write a bunch of woohoo nonsense. No, I mean, actual horrible people, Mr. Bobby, do crimes, commit crimes, harm other people physically, actually harm them, emotionally abuse people, etc. They don't write a bunch of. They aren't a creative doing occult stuff. That's just get your fucking head out of your ass. Anyway, I gotta go to. I gotta go to this baseball game, and I'm tired of arguing about this. So I love you all, even you, Mr. Bobby, and I'll see you later.